Bengals look to get back to 500 for the first time this season and keep their AFC playoff hopes alive. Mike Petraglia inside Paycor Stadium. You could not ask for better conditions for December 28th on the banks of the Ohio River. We're talking about temperatures in the mid to upper 50s for the 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Game can be seen on NFL Network and locally in Cincinnati on Fox 19. Precipitation could be a factor. We are expecting 40 to 50% chance of rain sometime in the late afternoon, early evening hours. So that could make conditions a little bit moist in terms of trying to pass the ball and holding on to the ball, period. Wind should not be too much of a factor. And again, the temperature should be ideal for these players today. Temperatures in the mid to upper 50s, dropping into the low 50s by the end of the game around 7:30, 7:45 this evening. In terms of the game itself, it's going to come down to the Bengals offensive line and their ability to handle the five-man front pressures of the Denver Broncos. Defensive coordinator Vance Joseph has schemed a defense that has generated 51 sacks this season. That number is second only in the NFL to the Baltimore Ravens, who have 52. They've also played one more game, have the Ravens on the season. But it starts with the Bengals' ability to slow down Nick Bonito, who comes into the game with 11.5 sacks, and Zach Allen, who has 5 sacks, but he has over 30 quarterback hits. The Broncos have 6 players with at least 5 sacks on their roster. This is a team that can certainly bring the heat to quarterback Joe Burrow. Burrow this year has done a fabulous job of scrambling in the pocket, climbing in the pocket, getting close to the offensive lineman, looking for any window possible to throw the ball downfield. He's even done a great job falling down and acting the Superman role, as T. Higgins called it after the win against the Browns on Sunday, falling down and throwing touchdown passes. But certainly the Bengals want to keep the pressure off Joe Burrow as much as possible. Burrow's going to get hit in this game. There's probably no avoiding that. But they want to be able to, the Bengals, and Dan Picture, the offensive coordinator, want to be able to throw the ball downfield and test Pat Surtain, who's one of the elite cornerbacks in the NFL, but also Riley Moss. Moss and Surtain both dealing with nagging injuries. Moss playing for the first time in 4 weeks due to a knee injury, so keep an eye on that. An ankle injury has slowed down Pat Surtain II. So those are 2 issues that certainly could factor in whether or not Jamar Chase and T. Higgins can get free down the field for some big-time chunk plays. We'll see if they are able to do that. Speaking of Jamar Chase, he only had 1 catch on 4 targets for 3 yards in that 2021 matchup. The Bengals won that game in Denver 15-10. This could be a much higher scoring affair. What about Jamar Chase in the record books today? A couple of numbers to keep an eye on. He's just 4 catches shy of matching T.J. Houshmandzadeh in 2007, his single-season franchise catch record mark of 112 receptions in a season. He could certainly get that, and I would expect him to get that today. He's gone over 1,500 yards already. He did that on the 32-yard touchdown at the end of the Browns game on Sunday. But what about Jamar Chase and his single-season touchdown record for the Bengals? Well, the record is 17, held by Carl Pickens back in 1995. Jamar Chase comes in with 16. So certainly the Bengals would like to not only see him match it, but surpass it today in a game against the Denver Broncos. Broncos with a win at 9-6. They clinch a playoff berth. Bengals with a win get back to 500 for the first time this year. It's hard to believe they haven't been at 500 all season long, but they can do so here in their home finale with a win over the Denver Broncos. They will also assure themselves of staying alive in the AFC playoff race heading into Week 18, the season finale, regular season finale at Pittsburgh against the Steelers. We'll, of course, have you covered on the Jungle Roar Skinny Bengals postgame pod. Myself and Richard Skinner of Local 12, youtube.com/@JungleRoarPod. Follow me on the X as always, @Trags, TRAGS, and all of the online content, including a preview of today's game and a feature on Jamar Chase at CLNS Cincy with a Y Inside Paycor Stadium, Mike Petraglia, CLNS Media.